leads us straight into this article from ClutchPoints. This is from Rohan Brahmbhatt of ClutchPoints, and he says, ranking the 3 best DeMar DeRozan trade destinations as the Kings spontaneously combust. And you want to know the favorite part, or my favorite part about that headline? Kyle, that was on November 14th. So he wrote this before they lost to the Victor Wembanyama-less Spurs. He wrote this before that.
Apparently also the Timberwolves.
And yes, and the Timberwolves. Okay. So let's get into the 3 places. I'll just give you a little bit of a lead in. The Kings are only 12 games into the season at that time, but the alarm bells are already blaring in California's capital. Their hastily assembled big 3 of Domantas Sabonis, Zach LaVine, and DeMar DeRozan has sputtered out of the gate, dragging the team to a disappointing then 3-9 record, now worse than that, and 3-11, and offering little evidence that the trio's skill set can coexist. DeRozan and LaVine already failed as a primary wing duo in Chicago, and adding Sabonis, who needs the ball, the elbow touches, and the offensive orchestration, has only made the fit clunkier. At 36 old and an somewhat expiring contract, DeRozan is the most logical first domino to fall. The irony is that he's actually playing well through, at that time, 12 games, averaging 19.2 points, 3.4 rebounds, 3.3 assists, shooting 48% from the field, and an eyebrow-raising 40% from deep, an area long considered his Achilles heel. DeRozan is still one of the league's elite mid-range shot creators, a foul-drawing savant, and a stabilizing presence in clutch moments. All right? This is where he starts. And Kyle, some of these we've heard before. There's 3 of them. Some of them are a bit new. Here's the first spot. The Philadelphia 76ers. A perfect half-court pressure valve. The Philadelphia 76ers, again, leaning heavily on Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. And while Maxey has taken another leap, much to Kyle's chagrin, I added that in, the Sixers still lack a third steady shot creator, particularly in the half-court when things bog down against elite playoff defenses. DeRozan solves this problem immediately. Nick Nurse values players who can get to their spots, play through contact, and collapse defenses without relying solely on speed or athleticism. DeRozan's methodical footwork and elbow-extended scoring game would slot beautifully next to Embiid's post-gravity and Maxey's pace. It's not the splashiest destination, but it feels like a clean basketball fit, and DeRozan gives Philly a closing time bucket getter they can trust. So this is a new name that we've seen with the 76ers, and obviously there are a lot of different approaches that the Sixers can take. They have some weird contracts. They just got some weird situations out there, my boys in Philly, and they'd have to figure out where exactly everything fits. I think for me, Kyle, you got over $100 million tied up in 2 players that don't play, in Joel Embiid and Paul George. So that's the first problem. But besides that, you're good. Besides that, you're solid. If the Kings were to say, and the problem is you got 3 years left for Paul George, which is insane, and the only thing more insane than that is 4 more years for Joel Embiid, which I just cannot do. Obviously, VJ Edgecombe has been incredible for the Sixers so far. They continue to hit on their draft picks, or so it seems. So, Kyle, I don't really know how at DeRozan's $24.7 million, I don't really know how you're getting there. Obviously, it's a non-guaranteed contract, so maybe it would make more sense to wait till the end of the year. But yeah, I don't know how you're getting there.
All right, I've gone into the dungeon to try and figure it out. So, in this very specific scenario, it would be DeRozan, and then the Kings move one of their minimum players in a salary dump. So, like, they'd send McDermott or something to a third team and throw in a second-round pick or something like that. And they would take back Quentin Grimes, Kelly Oubre, Andre Drummond, who they'd have to buy out, and Trendon Watford, who they could either buy out or put on a 2-way deal. So Grimes and Oubre, basically.
Look, Trendon's 6'9", 25 years old.
Yeah, but he would either have to be... I think he's on a non-guaranteed deal. I'd have to look it up because I'm pretty sure he's one of their 2-way guys right now. But Maybe he isn't.
I don't think he's two-way.
Okay, then, yeah, I guess Trendon Watford would be the other option. Yeah, he's averaging 9 points per game right now, shooting 41% from three, Alan. Not a shot blocker, so...
That's okay. We don't need those.
Yeah, so it basically would have to... I don't think the Sixers would do this, but it would have to be Quentin Grimes, Kelly Oubre, and Trendon Watford, and then buy out Andre Drummond. Mm-hmm. I just don't think the Sixers would put all of their eggs in that one basket.
Yeah, I mean, I think to your point, the Quentin Grimes thing is fine because they clearly aren't really valuing him, especially how they have VJ Edgecombe, and when Jared McCain does get healthy, they're going to get Jared McCain back. So they wouldn't have a problem with Quentin Grimes. Honestly, Kyle, I think the problem is they wouldn't, and I know he's expiring as well, but Kelly Oubre, we've joked about this before. Every season, Paul George isn't available, so every season Kelly Oubre ends up playing way more, and Kelly Oubre might be one of the most underrated, undervalued contracts in the NBA. And just because you can't trust Paul George, I think, funny enough, at 29 years old, I think Kelly Oubre is the issue. I think they'd say we literally can't afford to give up Kelly Oubre.
Yeah, I guess I'm trying to think, so how would this rotation work? They would go Maxey, DeRozan at the 2, with McCain alternating.
Yeah.
And then
that dude's got to get healthy, man.
Yeah. I don't see a realistic path to really make this one happen. Not to say it's not a bad idea and the Sixers couldn't use scoring. I just don't see a path for them to add $25 million.
Yeah. Every time I see the Sixers rolling, it's always shooting threes in transition. Like, I've never seen the Sixers score in a set without Joel Embiid score in a set half-court offense. And I think that's what Rohan is saying here. They're just a young, fast, flying around team, but when things get bogged down in the playoffs, they just don't have the piece. That's supposed to be Paul George. It's just you don't know when he's playing. All right, let's get to the next one. Here is a familiar name. Can I remind you of handshake agreements? Miami, the most heat culture trade ever. If there's one franchise that can talk itself into extracting the absolute last drop of elite level production from a veteran scorer, it's a Miami Heat. Eric Spoelstra has a long track record of maximizing late career stars, Kyle Lowry, Kevin Love, even Victor Oladipo for stretches.
And Terry Rozier.
And not Terry Rozier. The Heat desperately need another on-ball creator. Andrew Wiggins is 30 and selectively coasting in the regular season.
That's crazy to just drop that in there.
That's what the Kings are doing as well. The Tyler Hero is great, but injury prone. Bam Adebayo is not a self-creating scorer. DeRozan instantly becomes their second best half-court initiator and a deadly closer in tight games. It's crazy to hear that out loud, that he would be their second best half-court initiator. And I guess the operative word there is half-court, but it's still crazy hearing that. I think the Heat, this is something we've talked about before. I wonder where, I know Norm Powell, is he just saying Norm Powell is...
That's what I was confused by. Like, are we pretending Norman Powell isn't, like, killing it right now for them? But I guess the other part is Hero hasn't played yet. Right. So, I mean, he would essentially be playing Hero's role until Hero came back. And then you'd kind of figure it out from there.
Well, and that's what he's saying. I mean, these are both two teams that have money invested in other places, but the money where they are invested hasn't worked out. That is what's interesting, though, Kyle. I mean, Tyler Hero makes about $7 million more than DeMar DeRozan. Now, obviously, on its face, you'd have to give the Heat more. But if the Heat don't want to extend Tyler Hero because of the injury-prone stuff and things like that, is there a world where you'd have to give something more to the Heat? But is there a world where they would give up Tyler Hero?
Yeah, that's where I'm stuck with it with the Heat. Is like, it's not a bad idea, but the Heat, kind of like the Kings, they can't play Terry Rozier, Norman Powell, and DeMar DeRozan all at the same time.
Terry Rozier is not playing.
I'm sorry, not Terry Rozier. Tyler Hero is what I meant. Sorry. Tyler Hero. Slip of the tongue. Tyler Hero.
There's a joke there, but I'm just not going to go there.
Tyler Hero, DeMar DeRozan, and Norman Powell all can't play at the same time. So out of that group, you know which one's going to the bench. It's DeRozan, which, by the way, I just looked up the numbers because I'd kind of been paying attention. Norman Powell so far this year is averaging 26 points per game, shooting 48% from the field and 47% from three.
How many threes is he taking?
He's taken 7.3 per game, and he's hitting 3.5 per game. Norman Powell is absolutely crushed. Like, he is going to make the All-Star team in the East if he keeps this up.
Wow.
After he got screwed last year.
They didn't extend him either.
Nope.
Not yet.
Nope. Yeah. He's a free agent at the end of the year.
Oh, no. Oh, no. How tall? Oh, no. He's 6'3". He's a shooting guard.
I'll take Norman Powell. Shoot.
No, he would lose all of his powers if he came.
No, probably.
If he came to Sacramento.
But Norman Powell's awesome. Also, could I just say, like, I'm starting to realize that in the modern NBA, if Norman Powell can do what Zach LaVine is literally doing right now, like, everyone's overvaluing these shooting guards that can just shoot from the wing.
But I don't think they're overvaluing them anymore.
I kind of think that if the Heat are saying no thank you, we don't want to extend Tyler Hero at $50 million a year, and everyone agrees Zach LaVine is a bad contract, and the Lakers aren't offering Austin Reeves $40 million a year, like, and Bradley Beal went through what Bradley Beal just went through, I think people are kind of devaluing this skill set now in the modern NBA.
Yeah, getting back to this DeMar DeRozan, to your point, Kyle, and we've had this conversation before, I don't think they would move off of Wiggins because Eric Spoelstra values defense and Wiggins shoots the three ball, even if he's selectively coasting, as ClutchPoints wanted to point out. Yeah, I'm not really sure how they get DeMar DeRozan without that handshake agreement now that Terry Rozier is heading to a different type of court to play. So I don't know how they get there.
Well, good news. You could just match Terry Rozier's contract.
But you can't.
I mean, you can.
He's not even getting, there is no contract.
Because
he's not getting, there's no contract to match.
What are the rules on that? Like, can they match? Like, if the Kings are like, we are doing this solely for salary purposes.
I don't think so because he's not getting paid right now.
That's where I'm stuck. But his cap hold is still there. That's where I'm stuck. Like, could they actually do it?
I think the Heat just wouldn't do it because they would just get through the season and then just bring DeMar in.
Yeah. I guess I'm just looking at it. It would have to be Fontecchio. Yeah, they can't get there. It would have to be Terry Rozier's money.
Yeah, as you can't get there. All right. The last one.
It would be the same handshake agreement.
The last one, Los Angeles Lakers. The, quote, finally move everyone has been waiting for. It almost feels too perfect, but the Lakers are undeniably the most logical destination for DeMar DeRozan. They have tried the playmaking wing experiment with DeRozan for years, repeatedly flirting with acquiring him but never closing the deal. Now with LeBron James still defying time at 40 and Luka Doncic in need of a reliable third scoring option, the Lakers need someone who can give them 15 to 20 points without requiring LeBron and Reeves creation. So I was curious where he was going when he said third scoring option, because obviously that's been Austin Reeves. But then when he continued to say the creation of LeBron and Reeves, and I would say Luka as well, that is interesting. I think the problem is, like we've talked about before, they are the classic, well, we're kind of rocking and rolling right now. We still need to see what we are when LeBron comes back. I don't know, Kyle, they're probably a month away from even thinking about doing anything because you got to get LeBron back and then assess and then reassess before they'd be interested in making a move. But I think the obvious one to me is, and he's actually expiring now. Wow, they doing my guy dirty. I would finally, out of all my guys, Obi Toppin.
Tajon.
No. Okay, no. Those are draft guys. Obi Toppin, all right. Rui Hachimura. Okay, out of all the guys I've been trying to acquire,
Kyle Kuzma.
No. All right.
Jeremy
DeAndre
Grant.
Hunter. All these 6'7" to 6'9" wing, 4 wings, right? Kind of could complement Keegan. We'd finally get one in Rui Hachimura. We'd finally get one. And I would do it, Kyle. I would do it. I don't know if the Lakers would do it.
Here's the deal that I think works for everyone.
But not Jared Vanderbilt. No.
No, don't worry.
Never.
It would be Rui and Maxi Kleber's expiring contract.
Done.
For DeRozan and Doug McDermott.
See, why would the Lakers do that?
They're just Rui for DeRozan is the trade. Are the Lakers
Give
better?
Give him a second rounder.
The Kings have to give up a second rounder?
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
No.
Rui is 6'8" and 27 years old.
DeMar DeRozan is 6'6" and still scoring like 20 points a game.
The only reason that I'd probably say they might not have to give up something is because Rui is expiring.
Yeah, and DeRozan's is not fully guaranteed, so they have roster flexibility, but they don't care that DeRozan's deal isn't guaranteed. They've got because LeBron's money is coming off the book, they've got $50 million in cap space next year.
Yeah.
So they're fine if DeRozan's making $20 million a year.
Look, I would do it. I'm trying to make sure I don't have purple lenses on as to why the Lakers would do it. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Let's just pull up Rui. Let's see how our boy Rui's doing.
No, and you got to be careful because I hear that tone in your voice as if you're about to be disrespectful.
So Rui has started every game for the Lakers this year.
Because he's a boss.
He's putting up 15.8 points.
Gonzaga's finest.
He is shooting 57% from the field.
Beautiful.
He's shooting 50% from three.
What?
Yeah.
I told you.
He is. Let me just.
How
see.
many a game?
He is 26 for 52 from three.
I like that.
Yeah, honestly, they might not trade him.
I told you. I try to tell you this stuff. Why do they keep sleeping on Rui?
All right.
Is it because he went to Gonzaga?
All right.
Stop playing with my guy.
Let's go back to the trade machine.
Just give them a second rounder and be done with it.
I don't know if that.
Now that's not enough.
I'm just saying. Maybe we got.
You wanted to give them. You thought that you were about to say that the Lakers should be giving the Kings a pick.
All right, let's throw in Stockton's own or Gabe Vincent. Let's throw him in there. Let's see if we can make this work.
I don't see that.
Yeah, I don't really see a path to make that one work. Let's throw Dalton Connect in there just because.
Oh, now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah, so there you go. Okay, so the Kings could do Gabe Vincent, Maxi Kleber, and Dalton Connect. They would have to waive Doug McDermott and somebody else to make it happen.
But, and give him Devin Carter just because that's always the trade that I've wanted.
You want to get rid of Devin Carter?
No, I just think Dalton for Devin just makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, well then, let's say we get a second-round pick from the Lakers, huh? Mm-hmm. How about that?
Okay, what's the final deal?
All right, I got to make sure.
Out of all these deals from ClutchPoints, from Rohan, we finally have one that we think works.
Nope, Devin doesn't work. Too much money.
Devin, you can stay.
Yeah, we got to throw in a contract we're going to cut. Jackson Hayes, boom. We'll take Jackson Hayes and waive him. And
hold on. This guy had a nice 3-week stint with the Lakers where he was going to be the next guy.
And then Rudy Gobert put up 28 and 22 against him in the playoffs. So the final deal would be DeMar DeRozan and Devin Carter for Gabe Vincent, Maxi Kleber, Dalton Connect, Jackson Hayes. The Kings would then waive Jackson Hayes and waive Doug McDermott in order to get the roster to 15.
I'm in.
And a second-round pick from the Lakers.
I think we got to do it.
So if we discount the ones that we waive, it would be DeMar DeRozan, Devin Carter, and Doug McDermott for Gabe Vincent, Maxi Kleber, and Dalton Connect.
I'm trying to think who says no. Give me what the Lakers are getting again.
So the Lakers would be getting DeMar DeRozan and Devin Carter, and then waive Doug McDermott. Mm-hmm. The Kings would be getting Gabe Vincent, Maxi Kleber, which they could waive him if they wanted to, Dalton Connect, and a second-round pick.
The Kings are getting a second-round pick?
Kings are getting a second-round pick.
No, that's going the other way.
For Gabe Vincent?
For...
The Kings are getting a second-round pick from the Lakers. For Gabe Vincent and Dalton Connect?
Okay.
Gabe Vincent also on an expiring contract?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't want to do that without... I'm doing nothing without Rui.
So you just want Rui?
Yeah.
Yeah, dang. The Lakers might... Because that's the thing. If Rui is shooting that well, that is the perfect player to put alongside Luka.
Yeah.
Is just sit in the corner and shoot threes.
They've been winning games. They've been winning games. This is the tough part of DeMar DeRozan's value. This is exactly what the tough part of DeMar DeRozan's value is. I was surprised, Rohan, and we've talked about them before at length, but no mention of the Clippers in there.
So it's funny. I was literally going to say that. On my list of things I was sad that I wasn't here for last week to talk to you about, we've checked off about like 4 of the 7 now, but the one I wanted to talk about is the Clippers losing Bradley Beal. They literally just need DeMar DeRozan, right? Because he can go offense, defense with Chris Dunn. So, but I was curious your thoughts on this. Is it worth it for the Clippers knowing they're already fading? Like they're trying to get back into contention, but are they a DeMar DeRozan away from actually contending?
I think they might think they are. I think they are a team that is similar to the Suns, similar to the Kings, and they don't want that Intuit Dome to be empty. They're going to try to milk they have a better grounds because they have a better core with Kawhi and James Harden, and they just came off a playoff appearance. They have a better core to say, hey, we're going to give this thing one more go with another older player in DeMar DeRozan, and then we'll blow it up. They have more legs to stand on than the Kings or the Suns doing it. So I think they're not ready. Even if they stink, I don't think they're ready to say uncle, especially when Kawhi hasn't been healthy.
So the deal would be probably DeRozan for Bogey Bogdanovic and Derek Jones Jr.
I'm in.
Which both have 2 years left on their deal, so it'd be expiring after 2027.
These are the 2 deals. It's either that deal or Draper rides in on a silver surfer,
John Collins.
And just scoops up Draper picks up John Collins from the Sacramento airport. And those are the 2 options.
Okay, so it's either Bogey and so you'd have to probably throw in another player in the deal, but it would be Bogey and Derek Jones coming back. Bogey, whatever, he's been fine. Be a fun reunion. Derek Jones, you could probably slot in at power forward with Keegan. Not that it's a fix, but at least it balances out the roster a little bit more for a team that's already cooked.
3 or 4, he's helping Keegan defensively, which is all that matters.
Yeah.
And he's going to space the floor.
Okay, I was curious your thoughts because obviously we didn't get to talk about it last week. That just seems perfect, right? They need exactly what DeRozan brings. They have the requisite contracts to make the trade. It feels like that's a perfect swap, even if the Kings aren't getting a long-term piece.
But this goes to something else that's been a question for me is, and what I said earlier today, if the Kings don't do anything, right, what do the Kings want back? If they're trying to embrace the stink and embrace the tank, Derek Jones makes them better, right? Are they trying to get, just because they're not buying into it, as Carmichael Dave tried to tell me on the crosstalk, just because they're not buying into the Ja Morants and the Zion Williamsons, does that not mean that they would try to improve at all? What would they want back for DeMar DeRozan? Would they want contracts with 2 years on them, like a Derek Jones Jr., or would they just be looking for expiring contracts? Or we're just going to wait till the end of the season and move